Okay, here we go. Looks like we're up. All green. Microphone check. Looks good. Good morning, good morning. We're looking left today. It's a bright sunny day at last. Yesterday was sunny too. After a month, a steady month of rain every day, we finally got the camera pointing left. Good morning, gang. We have a nice floater today too. A floating, not that kind of floater. A floating light post today. Okay, the usual story. What are we going to have today? Carving, of course, we're just going to keep carving these faces. I might be finishing this one. We'll switch over, if we do, we'll switch over to the second one as well. What else is on tap? There's a delivery that might be coming this morning. I don't know, recently the deliveries haven't come until after the stream is over, so we can't depend on that anymore. So we do have, of course, a show and tell, a few things to show. That's a message from my daughter. We can catch that later. Okay, let's just go. Stream of the month. You're onto that clue, are you? I found that this morning. I know. I have a Google News tab open all the time on my computer, of course, and I check each morning. I wake up. The first thing I do is check the Google News to see is he still alive. Unfortunately, whatever, we keep going, and then. But in my Google News today, I found a link to to myself. It's fun. I guess Google News is different for each person. Of course, it shows you what you're. Yes, it is Monday over here. It shows you what you're interested in. So Google News today thought I would be interested in a link. Where am I here? I sent it to my mother, so I should have it in my copy and paste here. Here we are. So. we should get back to work here. Shouldn't be sidetracked too much, but. Sorry about this. Excuse me. Here we are. So this is a screenshot of what I saw this morning in Google News. It's funny. So not very often you see yourself there. So okay. Anyway, enough of that. Enough of that. Let's get some work done. I hope if the stream has been getting attention, I hope it doesn't spoil it. We have very, very few viewers on this thing, and it's fine. That's fine by me. Just enough to make it worthwhile to do it, but not enough viewers to get impersonal. Anyway, let's get some work done. The thing about extra attention to the stream means, of course, that over the course of any given stream, there's going to be lots and lots of people visiting here for the first time. And, they don't know what's going on. So I think I'm going to have to improve the background links. There are some links on the Twitch page, links to what we are doing. But I think we need a link to a specific page for first-time viewers, because they have no clue what's going on here. And see what's happening here. So you guys have been answering, of course, very, very much. But so how many times we can re-answer the same questions again and again and again. So the Bob Ross comment, of course, we've been having that for years now. the YouTube channel, every second or third or fourth comment is about that. It makes a reference to Bob Ross. And it's kind of cool. At first, it's funny, you know. I grew up in Canada, not America, and there was no PBS. Well, Canada had its own, you know, CBC, etc., whatever. So the Bob Ross thing, I never knew about that. I didn't get it the first time around. I never saw Bob Ross when he was alive and doing his thing. So I didn't know who this guy was. And the first I learned about that was that on my own YouTube comments, somebody one day, you know, said, wow, blah, 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 Bob Ross, blah, blah, blah. I didn't get it, so I just ignored it. Then the next day, and after, you know, half a dozen of these things came in, I thought, look, what is going on here? So I Googled Bob Ross and found out what he was. You know. And I'm not upset by the comparison at all. So he obviously seems to have been a very pleasant, personable person, and no negative for me to be compared to that. It's a bit, it's sort of there's a too bad moment in that he had his thing where with those 30-minute programs he could take you through the whole process from beginning to end. And as it happens, this craft of ours doesn't work like that. It's not a 30-minute process from the start of one of these things to the finish. It's a, many weeks process in most cases. So I can't do the thing that he did where, hi, sit down today, let me chat and show you, and let's make a work. Let's do this. I can't replicate that experience. Because this is a Monday here in Tokyo, it's going to be pretty quiet out there today, I think. The weekend was bouncing, the joint was jumping. It was a very, very busy weekend, especially yesterday because the weather was good after weeks and weeks and weeks of rain. Yesterday was fantastic weather here, so Asakusa was jumping. And there's a long weekend coming up. The next weekend is holidays, and this is part of the government. The government has set up this program to helicopter money all over the country to help the tourism. And there's a huge fight. The fight is the only word to describe it going on at the moment, all of this next few days, between the central government and the governors and mayors of different regions and stuff. The central government has set up this plan to boost the economy and boost tourism and help everything else, still in the middle of this, pandemic, they're feeling it's the open up thing, and the central government is trying to do the open up thing, and all the regions and areas are trying to do the keep out of my town thing. So, and there's a staggering amount of money involved. It's more than yen 1 trillion. It's like $19 billion when you change it into dollars and stuff. And the government's going to pay 35% of your restaurant and hotel bills and blah, blah, blah. This is for domestic, not for international tourists. And you've got this, both of these things happening simultaneously. The central government saying, okay, go, 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 let's have fun, let's play, let's get back to normal, spend money, And the regions are saying, just do it anywhere else, but not in my town. And it's all going to play out over the next few days, Part of it, too, relates to the capital city here, Tokyo. The original plan was to just help tourism and travel. So it was going to be anywhere. If somebody from out of town wants to come into Tokyo for the weekend, that's part of it. But then the Tokyo government, which is this is where many or most of the infections are saying, are you crazy or what, So the central government canceled that. They took Tokyo out of it. This is like 2 or 3 days ago. They just changed the new law. Said, okay, except Tokyo. And people in my neighborhood here, I don't care. We're closed anyway. It doesn't matter to me at all. I have no dog in this fight. We are closed, period, finished. But the kimono shop next door and the restaurants and everybody else, they were looking forward to, my God, this next long weekend is going to be great, And now it's been shut down. Tokyo people can shop here, and they won't get a discount. They don't care. But out-of-town people, they won't get the new special discount. So behind the scenes, all this week now, over in the governing areas, there are just fights and backstabbings and front stabbings and just it's chaos over there. I can't imagine being involved in that kind of thing, We have the same situation we see it in the news playing out in America, They open up or close down or open up or close down or whatever, Well, the numbers here in Japan are nothing like they are in many parts of the world. At the moment, in a city of 35 million people here, what was the new infections yesterday? 175 or something. I don't know the number. It's just around that area every day, 100 plus or something every day. In a city of 35 million people. So statistically, that's statistically zero. Of course, it's not so good if you're getting sick, and I don't want to get sick and everything else, but it is not, that much of a total, absolute disaster here. I don't know what to think about all of this stuff. I really don't know what to think about it. If I were the king of the country, what would I do? How would I do this, The sort of frustrating thing from the science point of view about this is that we can't, but if everybody could stay home for 2 weeks, not go outside at all, everybody, then that was it. The virus would die. The virus would no longer be present in our society. So it's a frustrating thing in that there sort of is a solution at hand, but we can't actually do that, The conversation, I'm not even going to try and follow it here. Too much conversation. I really enjoying at lunchtime. I get my coffee and my muffin at lunch and sit there and scroll through the conversation here. So it's fun for me to read it, but it's difficult to keep interactive here. I'm sorry. So has it been a pun day? Has it been okay? Whatever. Good morning, everybody. Glasgow, Finland, checking in all over the world. It's fun. Cool. Thank you very much. This is John's asking this. So when I'm reading the chat later on, I'm just reading the text chat. I'm not sitting here for 90 minutes watching the whole program all over again. I don't do that, of course. So I'm just reading the chat. And sometimes, like what are they talking about? What's going on there? And I don't remember what I said or what the conversation was about, whatever, you know. So yeah, so John's right there. Sometimes it's confusing, and sometimes I remember saying this, what did those guys talk about? So I go in there and hunting to see what you guys said after some specific episode or whatever came up. So the other thing too is that Twitch keeps these things for about 2 weeks, and during that 2 weeks I go up there and I download it, but it doesn't download from Twitch with the chat. It just downloads as a raw video. Then we've got the chat content stored on file, and it's got the timestamps in it. So on my archives here, we've got both. There is the stored video and the stored chat, but they're not together, so I can't see them. That doesn't matter, whatever. I know we've talked about this before. I really am not looking at this as an archived, oh my God, catch every word this guy says. Forget it. This is a stream, you know. It's not a curated YouTube video, you know. There's space for both. The YouTube videos, I really take care of what am I going to say, sort it out, present something. This is not what that's about. So. That was something else I smiled at this morning when I read that story that was linked in Google News. You know, the story introducing our stream. Some website has made us Streamer of the Month, whatever. So, and something very interesting. A comment that the guy just made, sort of in passing. The crows. He talked about the crows. The person who wrote that review/introduction actually mentioned that he I guess, I'm sorry, I don't know. She found that the crows were an interesting part of this, and that was interesting, because I think so too, you know. Even back when I was working in my workshop in Ome, for me the soundscape of the workshop, the soundscape of my room and the environment was actually important. You know. I even made recordings of it. I've got a bunch of archived recordings of nothing happening, just me sitting there working, carving, while the soundscape happened, the outside, the river, the chime from City Hall, and the birds and stuff like that. So it was very nice for me to see that other people, or at least that person, felt this was interesting. If it wasn't for that damn air conditioner, which is grinding in the background still as we speak, you know. And over later today and into tomorrow as well, and I'm talking Japan time, there are going to be lots more new prints in the collection. The crew was working on we got tons now, photographs. Watanabe-san is just working through a couple of hundred photographs, getting the Photoshop editing done. And Rose-san is starting through a huge stack of print photographs. They're already uploaded, and she's trying to get the descriptions ready so we can open the page. So over the next few days, lots and lots of new stuff in the collection. And then the last 2 days, I spent the 2 days in my room upstairs. There's no shop, of course, so I spent the 2 days in the room upstairs, and I spent them organizing and cataloging about I don't know 2 years worth of stuff that's come into the collection that hasn't been even opened or cataloged or looked at yet. Stuff you've seen somebody here comes in on the show and tell. I wrap it up, throw it upstairs, and don't look at it again for a year. Anyway, a bunch of that stuff was cataloged and put into the collection yesterday, so it's really going to grow by leaps and bounds over the next couple of weeks. Nice. Someone's typed, Davis Canadian, not British. I'm both. I was born in Yorkshire and I moved to Canada in 1957. 57, my God, a million years ago. So I'm both. I'm British and Canadian. So everybody's already answering for me. Good. You guys have got it. You know my history better than I do. So. The question comes up, in interviews here in Japan, they'll ask me this, blah, 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 what are you, and sometimes I'll just answer, I'm Canadian, or sometimes it'll be British, whatever. And then the question comes, well, Joe, what do you feel? Are you Japanese? Are you Canadian? Are you English? What do you feel like, And there's no, well, the easy, quick answer is that being born in Britain meant nothing. I left there when I was 5. And although I had early schooling, I went to prep school. There's pictures of me with a little cap and a blazer and stuff like that. So basic early days training and stuff was whatever they got in Britain in the 50s. But then at age 5, we moved to Canada, and this little British boy with his accent, and he must have been really proper, got thrown into a Prairies elementary school. And that kind of stuff got washed out of me pretty quickly then, of course. So the guy you're talking to now, his thinking basically is a 1950s, 60s, 70s Canadian guy, I guess. So, I don't know. So I suppose I'm more Canadian than anything else. Although now half my life has been spent here. I got to do that calculation, we came here when I was 34 and I'm now 68. So it must be just about half my life. One day this year must be the day that clicks over. For half my life to be in Japan. So I should find it out and have a glass of champagne or something. Okay, next up is the mouth and nose. We're going to sharpen it. The knife's pretty sharp, but it's getting a little bit, it's lost its edge a little bit. So before we do this mouth and stuff, we have to zoom out here. We've got to sharpen it a little bit. Sorry for the disruption. Well, whatever.